It's a battle report you sent over. A really wild one, actually.
Oh, yeah. We're heading into the Warhammer 40,000 universe for this.
We are looking at these accounts of a specific fight. Ultramarines defending, totally outnumbered.
Sounds classic 40K. What were they facing?
Pretty much everything but the kitchen sink. They were surrounded in this bastion. You had Chaos, Orks, Necrons, even Tyranids, all closing in.
Wow. Okay, so not just one enemy, but a whole mix. That sounds messy.
Messy is one word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the setup looked incredibly bleak for the defenders right from the start.
All right, so our mission here is to trace this fight using your report, find those key moments, the turning points.
And see what it tells us about the units involved, the tactics, how it all played out.
Okay, let's dive in. We're at the Ultramarine Bastion. Captain Aurelius is looking out at this, this disaster waiting to happen. Let's unpack it.
Right, so the report lays out the scene. Ultramarines dug in, but enemies on all sides. And Captain Aurelius, he's got an ace up his sleeve, sort of. Terminators held in reserve for deep strike.
Teleporting them in later. Risky, but potentially game-changing if timed right.
Exactly. Timing is everything with that kind of move. The report stresses that.
And the enemies. You mentioned a mix.
A nasty mix. There's this huge Chaos Knight Tyrant looming. Massive firepower, especially that Volcano Lance cannon. Big vehicle killer.
Okay. Priority target number 1, probably.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
Then from another angle, Orks. And not just any. Orks Gazko Thrake himself.
The big boss. Wow. What's he bringing?
His usual brand of smash. Beast Snagga boys, a truck for transport. Lots of close combat threat.
Got it. What else?
Lurking around, you got Gene Stealers. Quick, deadly Tyranid shock troops. Always bad news up close.
Right, the Vanguard bugs.
And then the Necrons. Standing implacably,
Yeah.
anchored by a Doomstalker. That's their big walker, lots of ranged fire support.
Okay, so threats from every angle, every range. And the Ultramarines, you said they focused on the knight first.
They did? Smart move, probably. Take out the biggest gun before it vaporizes your defenses.
Makes sense. So turn 1 begins, Ultramarines get the first shot, which is always huge.
Crucial. But what they did, pretty bold. Almost crazy.
How so?
Well, their assault intercessors jump out for cover. Standard stuff. But their Storm Raven gunship, it flies right at the Chaos Knight.
Whoa, okay. Flying a valuable aircraft straight into the teeth of an anti-aircraft platform. That's gutsy.
High risk, high reward, like you said. And at first, it worked. Big time.
Really?
Yeah, the report says its multi-meltas just tore into the Knight, did like 12 wounds straight off.
Ouch. That's nearly half its health right there.
And other guns, las cannons, missiles, added another 6. So 18 wounds total. The Knight's left standing on just 6, crippled.
Incredible opening volley. Did anything else connect?
Not so much. Their ballistis dreadnought, basically a walking gun platform, fired at the Necron Doomstalker and completely whiffed. Didn't score a single wound.
Figures. Always happens when you need the hit.
Doesn't it just...
It did.
And then the wounded Knight hit back.
And I bet it wasn't happy.
Not happy at all. The report describes it as just brutal, even on 6 wounds. That Volcano Lance fires.
Oh, no.
It just deletes the Storm Raven. 1 shot, 18 damage. Poof.
Wow. So much for that gamble. Did it explode?
Thankfully, no. Didn't take anything else with it. But the dreadnought it was carrying, Maximus, a close combat brutalis type, he drops out of the wreckage.
Okay, maybe he can do something.
Nope. Knight turns its other guns on him. Melta missiles cuts him down to 4 wounds instantly. Then it just charges in and stomps him flat.
Jeez. Didn't even get to swing.
Didn't get a chance.
Yeah.
And the Knight still wasn't done. Its ectoplasmal weapon hits the Infernus Marines, the guys.
How bad?
Wipes out 4 of the 5. Only the sergeant left standing. That's 1 Knight, nearly dead, causing absolute chaos.
Unbelievable. What about the other fronts? The Orks?
They started moving up.
Yeah.
Gaz himself fired his big gun, Mork's Roar, at an Ultramarine tank, a Gladiator Lancer. Tons of shots, like 16,
Yeah.
but only 1 wound, and the tank saved it. So ineffective there. The Ork truck tried to charge the same tank, failed.
Okay. A little bit of luck for the Ultramarines there.
A tiny bit. But the Beast Snagga boys, they made it into combat with that lone Infernus sergeant.
And
he didn't last long. Unit gone.
man, things are just falling apart. What about the Nids and Necrons?
Just when you think it can't get worse, the Tyranids make their move. A winged hive tyrant, fast flying monster.
Ow.
Sees a gap, swoops in, lands right next to that Gladiator Lancer, and just tears it apart in close combat.
Tin tank gas couldn't scratch.
Gone. Just like that. Another major vehicle down. Turn 1 isn't even over.
This is a massacre.
It gets worse. Wing Tyranid primes, smaller, faster melee characters, they deep strike in near the assault intercessor.
Oh, brilliant.
Charge straight in, kill 3 of them. The lieutenant leading the squad fights back, manages to kill 1 prime, but still...
Still losing ground, losing bodies. And the Necrons, that Doomstalker.
Right, can't forget him. He finally activates. Takes aim at that ballistic dreadnought.
The one that missed earlier.
That's the one. Fires. And hits hard. Knocks the ballistas down to half health. 6 wounds left.
Okay. So, end of turn 1. Let's recap. Stormraven gone, Brutalis Dreadnought gone, Gladiator Lancer gone. Infernus Squad basically wiped, Assault Intercessors taking losses. The last heavy vehicle, the Ballistus, is damaged.
That about sums it up. The word the report uses is bleak. And yeah, it really, really was. How do you possibly come back from that?
Seriously, what happens in turn 2? Do they just get rolled over?
You'd think so. But Captain Aurelius, he still holds back those Terminators. Maybe waiting, maybe just regrouping mentally after that pounding.
Can't blame him. So what do they do?
Well, they have a Calidus assassin, Lara. She tries to take a shot at Gazgul.
A long shot, probably.
Very. And she fails to wound. So another swing and a miss there.
Okay. Starting to sound like the end.
But then, a glimmer of hope. That damaged ballistas dreadnought.
Yeah. The one on half health.
It turns its guns away from the Doomstalker
Yeah.
and faces down that crippled Chaos Knight, the one that started all this mess.
Ah, a duel.
Sort of. They both fire Overwatch first reactive shots. Both miss. Classic.
Okay.
But then the ballistas fires its main guns. The last cannons.
The Ballistus.
And it connects. It finishes off the Chaos Knight. Takes it down.
Yes, finally. That thing was a menace.
Huge, absolutely huge swing. Taking that knight off the board removed the single biggest ranged threat they were facing. A damaged dreadnought gets the job done. Unexpected hero, maybe.
Definitely feels like it. Did it manage to hurt Gaz after that?
Nope. Still no luck there. The Ballistus and the Assassin both try, both fail to wound the Orc Warlord. He's tough.
Figures. But the knight is down. What else?
The focus shifts. Guilliman himself, the Primarch, steps up.
About time. What's he targeting?
That winged hive tyrant, the one that shredded the Lancer.
Right. Needs to go.
Guilliman engages, uses his big power fist, the Hand of Dominion, and crushes it. Another massive threat neutralized.
All right. Things are looking up slightly.
Well, yes and no. The hive tyrant explodes when it dies. Acid everywhere.
Oh, lovely. Collateral damage.
Wipes out a whole nearby squad of scouts.
Yeah.
And splashes Guilliman himself for 2 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Bypasses his armor. So even the Primarch feels that.
Ouch. A victory, but costly. Anything else?
The lieutenant, the one fighting the winged primes, he manages to kill the second one.
Yeah.
Cleans up that threat.
Good. Securing the backlines.
But then the Orc boys finally crash in. They overwhelm and kill both that lieutenant and the assault intercessor sergeant.
Damn. Trading pieces, but losing leadership in infantry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So end of turn 2. The knight is gone, the hive tyrant is gone, the winged crimes are gone, key threats removed. But the Ultramarines are still bleeding, losing characters, losing squads. It's still incredibly tight.
Feels like they've stabilized maybe, but at a high price. Where does the fight go in turn 3?
Well, with a knight and hive tyrant down, guess who becomes the enemy's #1 target?
Has to be Guilliman. He's the biggest thing left standing.
Bingo. The report shows everyone just dogpiling him. It starts with Gazgul charging in.
The big showdown.
Gaz swings that massive claw, connects, takes another 4 wounds off Guilliman. He's hurting now.
Yeah, okay, this could be bad.
And then, this is where the report gets kind of funny, in a 40k way. Makari, Gaz's tiny little grot standard bearer.
Makari, the lucky grot.
The very same. He apparently ducks between Gaz's legs, takes a poke at Guilliman with his little knife, his staba,
No way.
and scores a devastating wound. Just pure, improbable luck.
You're kidding. Makari wounded Guilliman.
Significantly, a devastating wound can dish out multiple mortals. It's like the luckiest grot in the galaxy living up to his reputation.
Amazing. What did Guilliman do?
Swatted him like a fly, apparently. Crushed Makari instantly. But the damage was done. Guilliman did manage to wound Gaz back in the exchange, though.
Okay, Makari goes down a legend, but Guilliman's in trouble. What else hits him?
The Orc truck slams into him. Guilliman manages to fend off that attack, though. But while he's tied up,
Yeah.
elsewhere, Gene Stealers finally make their charge. They hit the Ultramarine infiltrators, the screening troops, and just wipe them out. Gone.
More losses. They're running out of bodies.
And then more Gene Stealers, plus the last Winged Tyranid Prime, they also charge Guilliman. It's just a massive scrum around the Primarch.
Everyone versus Guilliman.
Pretty much. The enemy is throwing literally everything they have left at him. The Gene Stealers land another wound. The Winged Prime gets the last 2 through.
Wait, they got him. They actually brought Guilliman down?
They did. The report even lists the roll call. It took the Exploding Hive Tyrant, a Winged Prime, Gene Stealers, an Ork Truck, Gazkul Thraka, and Makari's Miracle Stab to finally overwhelm him.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's a coalition of destruction right there.
So is that it? Game over.
You'd think so. Primarch down usually means the end. But the report notes, well, Guilliman being Guilliman.
Don't tell me.
He gets back up.
Of course he does. He always does that.
It's kind of his thing. Resilience isn't just for dreadnoughts, apparently. He's back on his feet, ready for more.
Unbelievable. So that takes us into turn 4, with Guilliman back in the fight.
Exactly. And this is where Captain Aurelius finally decides, now's the time.
The Terminators.
The Terminators. He deep strikes them in right behind a ruined wall. Perfect spot. That patience paid off.
Okay. The cavalry arrives. What do?
They charge. Straight into those Ork boys who killed the lieutenant earlier.
And Power Fists meet Green Tide.
Power Fists win. The report says they just obliterate the entire Ork boys unit. This, it notes, is the moment the tide visibly turns. Center field is clearing up.
Fantastic. What about Guilliman? He must be furious.
Oh, he's ready for payback. First, he turns on those Gene Stealers that helped bring him down, wipes the whole squad out.
Sweet revenge.
Then he spots the remaining Necrons, some destroyers, mobile gun platforms. He charges them, swings the Emperor's sword.
How effective is that thing?
Pretty effective. The report says 28 wounds in a single swing. Just vaporize the entire unit.
28? Okay, yeah. That'll do it.
Just a bit. So Necron infantry threat, gone.
Yeah.
Gene Stealers, gone. Ork boys, gone. What's left?
The Doomstalker. And Gaz, I guess.
Right. And guess who deals with the Doomstalker?
Please tell me it's the Ballistus.
Our hero, the Ballistus Dreadnought. It lines up the shot. The Doomstalker takes an Overwatch shot back, misses.
Of course it does.
And the Ballistus fires its last cannons one more time. And down goes the Doomstalker.
Yes. The Ballistus did it. It took out both the Knight and the Doomstalker.
Incredible performance. The report even mentions a Tech Marine nearby, maybe helping with repairs and targeting, giving it that edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 2 biggest enemy guns taken out by the damaged Dreadnought.
That's amazing. So, what's left for the enemy?
Not much, really. Gazkul is still around, maybe some scattered remnants. But with the Knight gone, the Doomstalker gone, the main assault units smashed. They've lost all their heavy hitters, all their momentum.
So the Ultramarines have done it?
It seems so. The Ballistus, Guilliman, the Terminators, they've basically reclaimed the center. The battle is effectively won.
Wow. What a turnaround from that absolute devastation in turn 1.
Facing 4 armies, losing key units left and right.
To a decisive victory by turn 4. That's quite the story this battle report tells.
It really is. And you can see those key things that made it happen. The surprising resilience of that Ballistus.
Absolutely. MVP right there.
The timing of the Terminator deep strike. Aurelius waited until it would have the biggest impact.
And Guilliman just being Guilliman.
Yeah.
Taking an army's worth of firepower, getting back up, and then cleaning house.
Plus those focused attacks. Identifying the key threats, Knight, Hive Tyrant, Doomstalker, and taking them out, even if it cost them.
It really shows how reading these accounts, like the one you sent us, helps you understand tactics playing out. You see the impact of units, the shifts in momentum.
Exactly. It's not just stats on a page. It's a narrative of action and consequence.
And it wasn't just the big names, was it? Like you said, the Ballistus was crucial, the Terminators arriving just in time. Even Makari's lucky shot played a part in that whole saga around Guilliman.
It all weaves together, which maybe leaves you with something to think about. This report really highlights how fast things can change, how victory can come from unexpected places, or just nailing the timing. It wasn't just the plan or the Primarch. It was resilience, timing, maybe even a bit of luck, all coming together.
A great point. So thinking about this comeback, what really stands out to you? What part of that turnaround felt the most critical?
Definitely something to chew on. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into what was, honestly, a pretty epic battle report.